Hello out there in Friendship Village land. This is your Voice of Friendship Village coming at you today with another podcast of a most interesting guest. And we think you'll particularly like listening to this person give us a little information about his life and his activities and his interests. And so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, we want to let you know who our sponsor is for this podcast, and it is the Village Voices, which just began resuming its schedule of practice, and we're looking for new voices to come and join us and be part of the chorus here on the campus. And we have a good time. We're learning new music, and we get to share that joy with others here at Friendship Village. And Mary herself is a member of the Village Voices, so she's going to say a little something right about now.
Well, I enjoy singing to begin with, and we encourage anybody that likes to sing. You don't have to read music, because probably half the people that belong there don't read music, but they catch on pretty fast to our songs. And we have a fabulous director, and she teaches us so much, not so much with just music, but just with life itself. So we're very glad that we can sponsor our group today, because it's in connection with our guest also in a roundabout way.
So if you're at all interested in coming and joining with us, we practice every Monday morning at 10:45 in the chapel at the Terrace building, and so we want to see you there. And so next on the agenda here, before we get to our guests, I want to just share a quick joke. This is a joke that comes from Susie downstairs in the restaurant, and it goes like this: where do bad rainbows go? And the answer is to Prism.
Oh.
To Prism, yeah.
Okay.
But let me share a real joke. Well, that was a real joke. This is also another joke. Anyway, it has to do with kids in a parochial school getting ready for lunch. So they come and they make their way to the cafeteria. They're starting out, and with their tray, and food is getting passed on to the tray. So here they are, and as they enter the line to get their food, there's a big basket of apples as they walk by, and a little note in the basket that says, "Please only take one of these. Remember, God is watching you." So the kids go through the line and get their food and come out, and as they're leaving the line, there's another basket, and this one's full of Oreo cookies. And there's a note in the basket as well, and this time the note says, "Take as many of these as you want, because God is busy watching the apples." So that's one of my personal favorite jokes. So here we are now with our special guest, and let me introduce him. His name is Ernest.
How about Denny?
Oh, gosh.
I usually introduce.
I do know him better than this. His name is Denny Ernster. He's a member of the local barbershop chorus, the Proud Image, as I am also a member, and that's how our paths got crossing with one another. And but he's been with the chorus for a good many years and is a valued member in many ways. And so we thought it'd be interesting to hear some of his story, and he could give us a little history too of the Proud Image barbershop chorus. So Mary, why don't you take over with some questions about this time?
Welcome, Denny. We're glad to have you here. I thought it would be interesting to interview someone from the group that Phil belongs to. And it is a large group. I know that. I've heard them perform several times. I'm very impressed. So we thought, I left it to Phil to pick out a really good one, and he did. So welcome, Denny.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And we'll start out with a little background history on you. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Waterloo. I was actually born in Choice Hospital, which is no longer standing. But I've lived in Waterloo my whole life. Went through the Catholic school system, went through St. Mary's in Columbus High School, graduated in 1975.
Okay.
Did you go on to college?
Well, I was one of those, what do they want to call, a non-traditional student. I started college the same year my youngest daughter started kindergarten.
Oh,
And I graduated in 4 years. I had worked about 10 years for Eagles Grocery Store, and then they laid us all off. I made the decision to go to college. And when they did lay us all off, it was in April. In that July, I actually went with the Proud Image Chorus to Salt Lake City to perform in an international competition.
wow.
Really?
So, but anyway, 4 years and I was out, and I spent a lot. I actually have a bachelor's degree, but I ended up being a systems administrator, computer guy, if you will. And that's what I did for all of my career after college.
Where?
Worked for Transamerica for most of those years. Transamerica down in Cedar Rapids. They were called Aegon, and then when they bought the Transamerica name, they changed names. And then I retired in 2020, a month before COVID hit us.
Okay. So you put quite a few years in there.
Yes, I had 10 years at Eagles, and then I had 21 years and then I had a couple of contracting jobs in between. But
So mainly your job was with computers?
yes, systems administrator. I was a Unix administrator and Windows administrator.
Great, great. And you're married and have children?
I have 3 children. 2 actually reside in the state now, and 5 grandchildren.
Oh.
But they're all adults, I guess.
Yeah.
And got grandchildren now. I have 2 that started college,
Gosh.
and a couple.
You don't look that
3
old.
younger ones.
You don't look that old.
Oh, I feel that old.
Oh.
And your wife?
My wife, she was a stay-at-home mom. I think we were kind of a rare breed for the time. Almost everybody, both people worked, but we always had one income. When I was in college, she was working 50, 60 hours a week, and helped put me through college. Would have never got through it without her.
Yeah. What was her profession?
She actually worked for a manufacturing company. She sews.
A sew?
Yes.
Sewed? Okay.
Yeah, Powers Manufacturing here in Waterloo, they make athletic uniforms. So she worked on the sewing machine there for about 5 years while I was in college.
Where did you go to college?
UNI.
Right here at UNI.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
And so now we're both retired.
But I'm sure you have something you do.
Oh yeah, well I
Yeah.
well golly, we don't have enough time to say everything I do. Like I said, I retired before COVID, and I have to have something going on. So I drive part-time for the nursing home in LaPorte, and it's actually called specialty care. And so we have some people that are permanent residents there. But we have we get Alzheimer's and people going through, stages of that disease.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rehab that goes on there. And I just drive them to doctor's appointments. I don't have any nursing credentials or anything like that. But
You do some maintenance work also?
well, I was doing maintenance work, but I stepped away from that. It was too much like work. I'm retired. I don't want to work anymore.
Okay.
But But it's a very interesting job. I mean, you would be amazed at how many people that I've met that went to St. Mary's when it was a high school and went to St. Mary's when it was a grade school, like I did.
Yeah.
It's surprising.
Huh.
So do you belong to a church here in Waterloo?
No, I go to church in Jessup, actually.
Okay.
St. A's in Jessup. And I sang in the choir there for quite a few years, but then the choir broke up, and we don't have one there right now.
So when did you join Proud Image?
1983.
Okay.
And I had a little hiatus that I was out of the. I didn't actually attend rehearsals and everything for a few years in there, but otherwise, probably 5 or 6 years I was out. But then I got back in and loving every minute of it.
You bet. It is a wonderful group.
So 1983 is 40 years ago.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
He'll tell you the story how he joined. The guy that actually got me to join was not even a member of the chorus, but he worked with a member of the chorus, and I was in the church choir with him, and he kept telling me, you need to go to barbershop. And of course, I'm 25 years old, and that barbershop, that's for old people. I didn't want to do that, and on Tuesday night he pulled up in my driveway, and what are you doing here? And he says, I am not leaving this driveway until you get in this car and come to barbershop rehearsal with me. And I went to one rehearsal and I was hooked.
How many members are in there now? Do you have?
Right now we have about 25 or 30 members. We probably have about 25 that regularly make rehearsals.
Okay.
But back in the 1980s, we had 55 to 60 guys.
Yeah.
So what we've done is the Mason City Chorus, who has a longer tradition than the Proud Image even, they date back into the 50s, 1950s. They were struggling with membership just like we were, and so now we do combined shows.
Right.
So we end up with 55 or 60 guys on stage usually.
And you have to have a pretty good sized place to perform too.
Yes. Yeah.
And you have some performances coming up soon.
Not our next big performance is December the 10th. It's going to be at
The Cedar Valley.
Cedar Valley Church on Amesboro.
Oh yeah.
That's where we've done. That's where we did
Yes.
our last year's Christmas
Yes.
performance.
So it'll be a Christmas themed program.
Yes.
Yes.
I went there and
Carols, yeah.
enjoyed a concert one time.
Yeah.
And you get together once a week to practice though,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
As I understand.
Well, the two choruses practice separately.
Yeah,
I
right.
happen to be a member of both choruses. I'm kind of a barbershop fanatic.
Yeah. That's all right.
So I go to Mason City on Mondays and practice with them, and then sing in Waterloo on Tuesdays. And I've been in 2 different quartets. My most recent quartet, our lead moved away, so I'm in between quartets right now. So, yeah, for a while I had usually 4 rehearsals a week to go to for 4 different groups. So.
Do you have a piano at home that you can practice on too?
Yes, I do. Actually, when I was a little guy back in grade school, for my age, I was somewhat of an accomplished piano player, but then I discovered girls and the piano playing went out the window.
Girls and baseball.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
You got the basics at that time.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I can play a few chords, and I know the notes.
Did you ever take piano lessons?
Well, yeah, back from like 1st through 7th grade, I
Right,
took piano
right.
lessons.
So you got.
She's a piano teacher in the
Well,
past.
maybe I should come back and visit you.
Well, yeah, I taught piano. Probably 25, 26 years.
Oh, wow.
A period of time,
Wow.
and I taught beginners.
Yeah.
So
And
I enjoyed it.
that's helpful for me singing because I know how to read music. I know key signatures
Oh yeah.
and accidentals. Although the first time I saw a double sharp, I never seen one of those in my life.
Well, yeah. It does help, though, to be able to read music.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
But it's not a requirement.
Oh, no, never.
Boy, I should put in a little commercial for the
yeah.
Proud Image as well. Tonight at 7 o'clock at Prince of Peace Lutheran Church, we're having a guest night.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like to sing, come join us. We'll have lots of goodies and see a little bit of what barbershop's all about.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of
Well,
good
when you
friends.
guys sing, you look like you have a lot of fun.
We do.
I enjoy watching the expression on everybody's faces. I think it's great.
And we get to watch the face of our director,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Boyd. I mean, his face really lights
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because he look from the back, of course, he looks
Yeah.
like he's having a lot of fun
Yeah,
directing. Yeah.
yeah,
And you guys
definitely.
look so great in your tuxedos too, or your suits.
Thank you. Yeah.
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 It's a great group to belong to, participate in, and be proud of. You got the best name there, Proud Image.
Yeah.
That's what it
Where
is.
did that name come from? Do you know?
That one of the founding members by the name of Dave Hayes, who no longer sings with us. He comes to all of our shows still, but he doesn't sing with us. We keep trying to get him back.
My daughter knows a guy named Dave Hayes that lives here in Waterloo. Wonder if it's the same one.
It possibly is.
He's probably 60, 50, 60.
Yeah, that would be about right.
Mm-hmm.
That would be about right.
Yeah.
Heck of a baritone.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably always ready to recruit people too, like we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and usually if when we get a guy there, they usually join because
Yeah.
well, our practices are just as much fun as the performances.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. We might mention a couple of people that we know of who have in the past been members
Yeah.
of Proud Image, but now live here at
Yes.
Friendship Village. And so I'm thinking of
Neil Benjamin.
Neil. Yeah. Yeah. Are there any others?
I'm not aware of.
There's
Okay.
no one I can name off right now.
All right.
We've gone through a lot. When you have a 50-man roster, well, you probably lose 10% of that and gain 10% of that every year. So we've had a lot of guys come through the chorus.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's probably others. I just don't know who they are.
And as we've learned, Denny's parents both lived here at one time, quite a few years ago.
Yeah,
So that's always a good connection.
yeah. After they got married, they married when my dad was in the Navy, and after they got married in it would have been the early 50s, they lived in Waterloo their whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And now you live where?
I lived near Brandon. I have
Brandon.
a couple acres out in the country.
Brandon.
That I,
Okay. Do you know where that is? Mary?
Yes, I stopped there and had my picture taken in front of the frying pan.
Ag- home of Iowa's largest frying pan.
Yes, my
Yes.
daughter pulled off of the road and said, "We got to go into Brandon." You know, not much there, but she said, "You got to have your picture taken." So I had to get out and stand in front of the frying pan
Awesome.
to say I'd been in Brandon.
That's great. I love it.
Okay. So.
So you have to drive wherever you want to go.
Yes, it's about half an hour to get to anything.
Yeah.
Does your wife stay at home, or does she have something to occupy her?
She's head of the quilting thing at her church.
Mhm.
We actually attend different churches.
Okay.
But she's head of the quilting group in her church. And she spends a lot of time taking care of her mother,
Okay.
who's 92 and not very mobile these days.
Mhm.
So she's up there a lot. And she takes care of me.
Right.
Yeah. There
Well,
you are.
That's a full-time
I was
job
gonna say,
all by
that sounds like a
itself.
big job.
There you go.
And you said you drove a van for residents at LaPorte City.
Yep. Meet all kinds of interesting people.
That's
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
And most of them like to talk.
Oh, yeah. Some of them are real quiet, and some
Yeah.
of them, oh my gosh, It's like we knew each other our whole lives.
Well, you get to know your bus drivers, that's for sure. We have a lot of bus drivers around here. And you get to know them, and they get to take care of you. You know, they help take care of you getting on and off the bus, and
Yeah.
I appreciate everything they do. They're another valuable part of our community.
Sounds like a sponsor for our immediate future.
That's a good
somewhere.
idea.
Yeah, the
Keep
bus
it in
drivers.
mind, bus drivers.
And now I think it's time on our program to have Mr. Ernster maybe sing a song or two. No, I'm just kidding.
That would be okay.
Just
The two
kidding.
of you could sing
Yeah,
together.
But we're two basses. We sing 4-part harmony. You'd only get one part, and
Yeah.
when you hear a bass by himself, it's not the same.
Well, I still think you could sing.
Wow.
You could come up, we should have practiced this. You could have come up with something.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But Denny said he had a joke he was going to tell us, so we better do
yeah.
that.
No. Well, I can do this. It's a story about this elderly couple. They've been married for 70 years, and they're having an anniversary celebration at the church. And
Yeah.
the minister brings the couple up front. He says, "My goodness, you've been married 70 years? That is fantastic." He says, "There must be a secret to it. So tell us, what is the secret of being married for so long?" And the husband, he jumps right up and he says, "Well, you have to do things that your spouse likes. And my wife loves to travel." He said, "So every year I would take her, to the skiing in the mountains, or I'd take her down to Florida on the beaches, and Las Vegas, and on a cruise. And in fact," she said, "for our 25th anniversary, I did something special. I took her to Tahiti." And the minister says, "Oh my goodness, Tahiti?" He says, "Well, what did you do for your 50th? He says, "Oh, I went back and got her."
Oh my. You don't know this, but I've told that very same joke here on one of our podcasts a couple times.
Oh, have you really? Oh, you've already heard it.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
good.
some people won't remember it.
Yeah,
Well,
that's good.
Well, then, I got a lot of them.
Oh, okay.
He tell you that when I was driving up here for this podcast to record this, heard some really sad news on the radio.
Oh.
Another television star passed away.
Oh, who's that? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
The fresh and rising star, the Pillsbury Doughboy, passed away.
Oh.
He died from trauma from too many pokes in the stomach. He's survived by his wife, Plato, and 3 children, Jane Doe, John Doe, and of course little sourdough. And it's rumored that they have a bun in the oven.
Oh, my goodness.
So funeral services will be held this coming Thursday afternoon at 3:50 for about 20 minutes.
350. That's good.
That's a good one.
Oh, well, let's not get him started, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I got Sven and Oli jokes? Yeah.
Oh,
No, I'll stop here.
okay.
You mentioned just before we started the podcast that your mother was an immigrant to the United States?
That's correct. My dad met her in the Navy.
Okay.
He was stationed in Trinidad, Port of Spain, Trinidad. And that's where my mother grew up. Grew up in a house with 3 servants. And a whole different culture from what we have here
What
in the US.
nationality is that?
My grandpa was actually Portuguese. And my grandpa actually moved from Portugal and ended up in Trinidad.
Okay.
And then my dad was stationed there in the Navy, and they actually were married in Trinidad and then moved back here. My dad's from South Dakota.
Oh,
So
okay.
my mom had a thick accent when I was young. She would, I'd have friends come over and she would talk to my friends and they just turn and look at me, and then I'd have to repeat whatever she said because her accent was so thick. But it faded over the years.
Did she speak a lot of Portuguese?
No, English was their native language.
Okay.
Trinidad was a British colony until 1966. So when my mom lived there, it was a British colony.
Okay.
It's have kind of a unique between a British accent and a Jamaican accent, if you wanted to describe it.
Did she ever go back?
Went back to visit sometimes, but not for any length of time.
And
Because
have you
her parents lived there and died there.
Have you ever been there?
I have never been there. I
Oh.
never have.
Wow.
An interesting feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there on Google Earth, but that really doesn't count.
No, no.
Yeah, very interesting.
You and your wife travel at all? Probably
No, we
don't have
tra-
time.
Well, a little bit. We travel different places. My youngest daughter lives in Tennessee, so we go down there quite a bit. That's on the other side of Nashville. I designed and built my own house. People think that's kind of interesting.
You designed and built
Yes.
the house you're living in now?
Yes.
You did, and built it
Mm-hmm.
from scratch? You built it?
Stick lumber. And I mean, when I did everything. I did the cement work. I did all the underground plumbing, the septic system, the wire.
Where'd you learn all of that?
I just kind of made it up as I went along. No, in college I had worked for my uncle who did underground, so I learned how to, all the plumbing aspects of it, and wiring is really kind of a simple thing. And I did design put everything in it. I didn't have any city codes to follow because that's out in the country, but I did install everything to meet city codes and stuff. I mean, for safety purposes.
Yeah.
Did your wife help you design it?
Yeah. Oh, yes. It was probably easier to build a house than it was to design because we had to agree on everything.
Yes. So when it came time to build it, it was all your responsibility. She did.
Well, no, actually, once the house was up and enclosed, and we had windows in, and I drywalled it, she did all the taping and mudding in the house.
Really?
And
Wow.
the original painting we did, I spray painted it, but since then she's done all the painting as well.
So how long have you lived there?
We moved in 2022, so I guess that's 21 years now,
Yeah.
and it hasn't fallen down.
It's still standing. That's good.
Yeah,
Have you had any requests to repeat this performance for other people?
I get requests all the time to do projects for people. And
Yeah.
I generally avoid them. I'm just getting. In fact, I did something really unusual. Is that my house needed a new roof after 20 years, and I hired someone to do it. I did not do it myself.
Oh.
So I could have.
Oh, sure.
I looked up
Shouldn't
there.
be
and
up on
said,
the roof unless you're a professional.
Well, I was up there. I put the rafters up.
I know.
Well, but my wife's brother helped me a lot too, and my brother helped me quite a bit. So
Okay.
it's not by myself, but
What do you have for siblings?
I have one brother and one sister.
Okay.
I'm the baby of the family. We're all retired now. My sister lives down in Ankeny. My brother's right here in Hudson, close
Okay.
by.
Great. Does he like to sing, your brother?
I've been trying to get him into barbershop for 40 years. For 5 or 6 years, he and I sang with two sisters, and we sang in a mixed quartet. We did Christian kind of music.
Oh, neat.
We sang we met in church, and
Okay.
so yeah, I was the bass, and my brother's the tenor,
Wow.
and actually our soprano was a Sweet Adeline, and her sister.
Okay.
So yeah, we did that for a few years.
What was the name of that group?
Mixed Blessing.
Mixed.
And
Blessing.
there's a name there's a story behind every quartet name.
Yeah.
But down the road, south of Hudson, there's that little church on the side of the road. That actually used to be a little town called Blessing.
Oh.
And that's where we all went to church at. That's how we met. Well, 3 of us went to church there, and that's how
Yeah.
we met and made the quartet, was in the church at Blessing. So,
Okay.
and we were a mixed quartet from Blessing.
So,
we
mixed
were mixed
Blessing.
Blessing.
Yeah. I get it.
I actually have a shirt with a little monogram on it.
Oh. How interesting. Wow.
Lots of stories.
Lots of stories. Yes. Well, we are coming to the close here, and it's been most interesting. We thank you, Denny. Thank you for
Well,
coming.
thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Happy to be here, and make sure if you're listening to this to come to our chorus practice. We
Yeah.
always want more singers.
Yeah.
The more the merrier.
Every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock at Prince of Peace
Yep,
Lutheran Church in
Evansdale.
Evansdale, our practice. So maybe there'll be some young men or older men out there listening who will maybe want to give it a try. So we'll hope for the best. And as we close, we like to close with this. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.